Part 69. After having everything taken away, she returns as a god. Author, Ching Qian. Chapter 682. She didn't speak, tears rolled down the corners of her eyes, making his palms wet. Yuzian frowned slightly. He wiped the tears from the corners of her eyes with a tissue, and his voice became softer. Did you dream about sister again? Only in dreams, and when she is sick do she reveal her true self. He really felt sorry for me. He bent down, took her out of the game cabin, and asked, what nightmare did you have? She suddenly raised her head, locked her eyes tightly with him, and called out, Yuzian. This was the first time she called him by his full name. He has always been a person who doesn't care about names. He was unknown in his previous life, and received a lot of cold looks when he ascended to the throne of God. But when his name came out of her mouth, his heart moved slightly. Yuzian paused. Huh. You can't leave me too. As I fucking hugged him, she gritted her teeth and trembled. Absolutely not. In fact, she is not old, but she has seen too many dead people. It is true that death can bring growth, but she doesn't want to experience it again. Yuzian's arms couldn't help but trembled, and his heart was shocked by these words. It was clearly a command, but it couldn't be called gentle. But to his ears, it sounded extremely pleasant. He laughed softly and hugged her tighter. I should be the one to say this. She is like an erratic wind, doing things as she pleases and being frivolous and undisciplined. Hard to catch. He was afraid that if he let go, she would disappear quickly. But now she is getting closer to him and opening her heart gradually. I won't. As I fucking rested her chin on his shoulder and said in a muffled voice, don't beat him up. He admitted his mistake naturally. I was wrong. As I fucking glanced at him and warned fiercely, if you dare to leave, I will find 108 young people to piss you off in front of your grave. Anyway, the people chasing me in the entertainment industry are all over the Western continent. Yuzian fell silent. It really pissed him off. There are so many points of attack in one sentence. Okay, I'm here. He patted her back and coaxed her patiently. Stop crying, it's very harmful to your body. Go get breakfast, okay? As I fucking wiped the tears on his face indiscriminately. Well, let's go. She was pulled by him to the dining table, like an adult leading a child. The buns are freshly baked and steaming hot. As I fucking picked up one of them and took a bite. Yuzian pushed a glass of hot milk over. Warmth flows into the stomach, blowing away the coldness of summer and winter. As I fucking held the milk and drank it slowly. She suddenly raised her head, with bright fox eyes. Brother Ninth, let's elope. Yuzian's eyebrows moved and she became more interested. Elope. I have no announcement this week. As I fucking said, today I will live broadcast to celebrate my fan's birthday, and we will go to Zizhu for a walk. How about going to Zhongzhou from Zizhu? Take it to no one, tell no one. After Emperor Yin died, because he left a will, she asked her to scatter his ashes among the rivers and mountains of the 5 states of Daxia. No matter how reluctant and sad the 3 families and 4 alliances were, they still had to let her take away Emperor Yin's ashes. So she scattered his ashes into various rivers along the road from Zizhu to Zhongzhou. He fought in all directions on this land during his lifetime. After his death, he merged with these flowers, plants, and trees, without restraint. It was indeed a good destination. She wanted to walk again along the path that he had not been able to complete during his lifetime. Okay, I'll listen to you. Yuzian raised his head. I recently learned a new word. I heard they call it honeymoon. As I fucking said expressionlessly, there will be a honeymoon after marriage. Then wait until we get married. Yuzian raised her hand to lift her hair with a faint smile. I can still wait. At 8 o'clock, as I fucking returned to the bedroom. She walked to the back of the play bay and opened the storage box. There was a jade bottle lying quietly in the originally empty box. As I fucking paused and took out the jade bottle. She also kept some of Emperor Yin's ashes, but she didn't expect to actually bring them out. This also proved that he was really dead and didn't even leave a body behind. Sci found a sachet embroidered with a dragon and bird, poured the ashes into it, and wrapped it carefully. Sci whispered, "I'll show you Daxia. It's really not a dream." She sat in front of the window until there was a knock on the door. Ching Ching Yuzian called her, "The live broadcast equipment is ready for you." "Here we come." Sci ran over, "You are not allowed to come in while I am live broadcasting." Yuzian lowered her eyelashes, "Okay." Sci didn't believe this black-hearted monster. She entered the study and locked the door. The moose are already waiting obediently in the live broadcast room. As soon as she turned on the camera, dense barrage appeared on the screen. "Happy birthday, baby Ching Ching, 2-year anniversary. Wife, wife. You wait for me at Seattle, I will take the college entrance examination next year. Goddess, are you going to guest star in the variety show Historical Relics? I'm ready." Sci answered them one by one, very patiently. After some time, a voice sounded from outside the door. "Ching Ching, do you want some water?" The last 3 words happened to fall into an empty space and came through clearly. The barrage disappeared instantly. Sci's fist hardened. A few seconds later, the barrage began to surge exponentially. What's the situation? Did you hear the man's voice? I heard it. Holy shit, is there a man hiding in my wife's house? Wife, you can't live without me. What man's voice? Sci took a sip of water calmly. Then did you hear the voices of old people, children, or anything else? When she said this sentence, she used 4 voices. Men, women, old, and young. Moose. Excuse me, I forgot that this perverted woman has dozens of voices. Honey, to be honest, if you don't become an undercover intelligence agent, your skills will be in vain. Sci looked at this barrage with great regret. Her style is too violent, and she often has no chance to do this kind of intelligence work. After the 2-hour live broadcast ended, Sci opened the door. She went downstairs and glanced coolly at the man sitting on the sofa. "You promised not to disturb me." Yuzian raised his eyes and said in a slow voice, "The girl is wrong, I didn't go in." Sci She wanted to hit someone. Forget it, for the sake of his face, she doesn't care. Let's go. Sci simply packed the suitcase and said, "Elope." Soon the two were sitting on the plane. The aircraft turned on autopilot mode. Yuzian turned his head and looked out the window, looking at this route, thinking of something long ago. He burned his body and did not want his officials to build a tomb. This goes against his original intention. No matter how great his achievements and how revered he was when he was alive, he was still just a person. After a person dies, all the fame and fortune he had during his lifetime are gone. Sooner or later it will turn into a pile of loess. But all his wishes before his death came true. One is to be an ordinary person again if there is an afterlife. One is that if you are lucky enough, take a look at the prosperous great Xia in the future. He had never thought about this third wish, but now it has come true. Yuzian raised his hand. "Ching Ching. What's wrong? How can you compensate me for spending so much time with your fans?" Sci hesitated for a moment. "Are you allowed to kiss for an hour?" He was stunned for a moment, then chuckled. "I can't guarantee that I won't do other things to you after we kiss you for an hour." These words made Sci's heart ignite. She immediately covered herself with a quilt. "I want to sleep." "Go to sleep." Yuzian rubbed her head. "I'm watching you." Free continent, Huo family. A middle-aged man came in from outside, took off his coat and handed it to the servant. Seeing him, the housekeeper smiled and said, "My uncle is back. Miss Shiyun has not been out of her room for the past 2 days. I'd better take a good look at her." Yu Shuming nodded. He went upstairs and saw Huo Shiyun in a daze, and asked, "Shiyun, what's wrong?" Look, Huo Shiyun stretched out her hand tremblingly and took out the paternity test report that she had been looking over for 2 days. Yu Shuming took it, glanced at it, and said casually, "You and Mom are going for a paternity test again." "This is not mine," Huo Shiyun suddenly raised her voice. "My mother recognized a goddaughter. I saw them talking happily and felt very uncomfortable. Later I looked up her life experience and found it very strange, so I took her hair and my mother's hair to do a paternity test." After finishing his words, Yu Shuming paused and said in complete disbelief, "Didn't your sister die at birth?" "How do I know?" Huo Shiyun held her head. "Shuming, think of a way, I don't want her to come back." Precisely because she was an only daughter and survived with great difficulty, Mrs. Huo felt guilty, so she poured all her love into her. Huo Shiyun also knew how to win Mrs. Huo's connivance by showing weakness. But if Mrs. Huo knew that Huo Yunjian was not dead and had been missing for so long, Mrs. Huo would feel even more guilty, and her status in the Huo family would be gone. This is something Huo Shiyun will never allow. Even if Xie Yangkaiu is her biological sister, she doesn't recognize her. They didn't grow up together, and Xie Yangkaiu was also living well. Not to mention that Xie Yangkaiu also has a son who has entered the inner courtyard of Eternal College, and is above her in everything. Yu Shuming frowned tightly, obviously in trouble. "Shiyun, I'm afraid we can't hide this matter." His voice deepened, but fortunately, neither of them knows about it yet. Huo Shiyun raised her head with tears in her eyes. "What do you mean? If you don't do it, you won't stop." Yu Shuming took out his mobile phone. "I'm going to place an order now and pay the mercenaries to take care of Xie Yangkaiu and her son," he said with murderous intent in his eyes. Ching Ching drops his horse first and buckles one, His Majesty buckles two, and both of them buckle 3qvq at the same time. In fact, it was quite painful for Ching Ching. Every time she strengthened her strength, she often had to exchange for collapse. I will not delete comments from genuine readers. Sometimes I am too busy to read comments. The Q reading system will delete even the author's own comments. The system will prompt that it does not comply with the regulations. The deletion is really not my fault. I am not that capable and still set it up. This is a rule, because giving this 1 star, there is really nothing we can do about it. The only deleted and banned comment this month was a pirated version by Xiao and Xiang. It was deleted on the 9th. It scolded me that you updated so little and still wanted to get a higher monthly ticket than others. Others updated 3 times but you updated twice, so you deserve to have a lower monthly ticket. It was very chilling and uncomfortable after seeing it. Not to mention the previous chapters, this month I have updated more than 30,000 words. I will update more if I can. I also have a lot of words in one chapter. Should I just read the chapters and not the word count? King's book was released 4 or 5 months later than other books, and the word count has almost exceeded it. Later, when I thought about a pirated version, I could only see the number of chapters. I didn't even bother to explain it, so I just blocked it and deleted it. It is a fact that the monthly ticket cannot be paid, but I don't admit that I update less. When the old Xiaoxiang web version was still there, I was always on the update list. It is not compulsory to vote for the monthly vote. You can vote if you like. There is no need to maliciously attack me with false facts. After having everything taken away, she returns as a god. Author, Qing Qian. Chapter 683. Although Yu Shuming is also a direct member of the Yu family, he is not favored. The Yu family is one of the 4 major families. Although its strength is slightly weaker, talents emerge in large numbers in every generation. Among the younger generation, there are 6 S-class evolvers alone. As a result, Yu Shuming, an A-level evolver who has not entered the inner courtyard of Eternal Academy, is completely unworthy. There were many marriages within the 4 major families, and Yu Shuming was not qualified to choose one, so he finally chose to be the son-in-law of the Huo family. After all, although Huo Shiyun does not have an evolutionary bloodline, her status in the Huo family is very high. In the future, when Mrs. Huo goes, he will be able to get a bigger share of the pie. So Yu Shuming was also panicked when he learned that Mrs. Huo's other daughter was still alive. If there is one more person, more property and resources will be taken away, and it is even possible that Huo Shiyun will be squeezed out of the Huo family directly. Can he bear this? Huo Shiyun was so frightened that her face turned pale. Kill them? What if mom finds out? Shiyun, if you don't tell me, if I don't tell you, how will mom know? Yu Shuming's face was cold. Don't forget, how many people die every day in Free Continent, and who doesn't have a life on their hands? She is not a member of the Huo family yet. She is just her goddaughter. If she dies, she will die. Please coax the old lady more. The old lady is very forgetful and will forget about it as soon as she turns around. Huo Shiyun was still hesitant. It's not because she can't be cruel, but because she's afraid of getting burned. Shiyun, please don't get involved in this matter, Yu Shuming vowed. I will take care of it. Don't worry, no one will doubt you. Huo Shiyun gritted her teeth. Okay, kill both mother and son. Xia Yangkaiu cannot stay, and Xia Yu cannot stay either. Yu Shuming showed a satisfied look. I'm going to prepare now. Be careful and don't show off your flaws. In the afternoon, the plane arrived at Canyon Prairie in Zizhu. This is the border of Zizhu and the first place where she escorted Emperor Yin back to Daxia. Sci-fi asked Xiaobai to sneak away on his own. She touched the sachet containing the ashes in her pocket, glanced at it, and saw Yu Xian opening a scroll with ground ink next to it. Brother Ninth. He didn't avoid hiding it from her, and he used his free hand to pull her onto his lap. I was moved by the scene and wanted to paint a picture. Sci-fi raised his eyebrows. Then give it to me after you finish the painting, and I can use your painting as a base for embroidery. Good. He held her in one hand and held a brush in the other hand, dotting the rice paper. Just a few random strokes, but the outlines of mountains, rivers, and lakes are outlined, lifelike. Sci-fi held his chin and blinked. Brother Ju, you are so good at painting. I didn't even know you could draw. Yu Xian was silent for a moment, then suddenly smiled. When I had nothing to do before, I would always draw to meditate, so I haven't done it for a long time. After 5 years of forbearance and 13 years of fighting, he had too many lives on his hands. Sometimes killing has reached a state of numbness. One thought becomes a Buddha, one thought becomes a demon. Anger and blood can make you lose yourself. At this time, he could only rely on music, chess, calligraphy, and painting to calm himself. He put the pen down halfway through the drawing. There is a horse farm over there. Yu Xian lowered his head, lifted her chin and kissed her. Would you like to go play? Sci-fi recalled that when she was in the Great Xia dynasty, she was restricted by the game system because of her physical fitness and became a weak scholar. As a result, she couldn't bear the weight on her shoulders and couldn't lift it with her hands, so Emperor Yin carried her with his hands and mounted him several times. Because of this, he was ridiculed by other soldiers. This was simply a shame in her life. Sci-fi, go. To the east is the race course, and Yu Xian obviously knows the owner of the race course. After the owner saw him, he said in surprise, Mr. Yu, is your leg healed? Yes, Yu Xian smiled lightly. This is my girl. Sci-fi looked at the tall white horse, thinking that she could finally ride it by herself. The thought had just come to her mind, but before she could take action, her waist suddenly tightened. A strong hand picked her up and carried her to the horse. This action gave Sci-fi a familiar feeling of being raptured. Sci-fi looked at him quietly. Do you often mention people like this? Yu Xian paused and raised his eyebrows. It's okay. Sci-fi jumped down and climbed onto another horse. I want to ride by myself, you go away. However, at this moment, she suddenly felt that she was locked by a sharp gaze. She narrowed her eyes and looked keenly at the source of her gaze. But there was an open space there, with only horses grazing with their heads down. After Si rode his horse around the race course and found nothing, he stopped and sat aside to enjoy the breeze. While she was embroidering clothes, she had a video chat with Yujian, third senior sister. Don't you have any news about your senior brother? That look just now seemed familiar to her. Every time she was caught by her senior brother, she would feel his gaze first. No, the second one sent people to look for him, and the fifth one also looked for him, but they couldn't find him. Yujian shook his head. You have to know that with the strength of the senior brother, even the master can't find him if he doesn't want to. The eldest brother is also an evolver, and the ability of an evolver is also elemental control. It's just that he controls the earth element of earth, water, wind, and fire. His perception is extremely powerful, and he also has certain spatial control abilities. Indeed, as long as her senior brother is interested, no one can find him. By the way, I went back to the top of the clouds a while ago and met Lao Chi. Yujian said casually. She was seriously injured. She probably connected to the holographic game in Abyss mode and went to some dangerous place. Bar. In Abyss mode, the time ratio between the eternal continent and reality is 100:1. Although Abyss mode gives players longer time, the damage caused is irreversible. Not only will the pain be restored 100%, but all injuries sustained in the game will be reflected back into reality. So if Abyss mode is dead, it is really dead. Some locations in the top 10 dangerous places can only be entered in Abyss mode. For example, the interior of the Endless Sea. Si's eyes were a little colder, and he asked again, what about the eighth senior brother? Laoba, Yujian thought for a while, he seems to have been protecting the master. Sometimes he would go to Yu's house and don't know what to do. He has kept a low profile in the past 2 years. Si hummed, master has never been released from seclusion. The lord at the top of the clouds, Yunjin. The peak combat power of Free Continent is the only one who can rival the head of state of the Holy Light Judgment. Her impression of Yunjin was more about his beautiful appearance. However, for such a handsome man, when she first met him, he directly punched the soul of a person who came to visit him out of his body with one palm. The strength is extremely terrifying. After she worshipped at the top of the clouds, like other fellow apprentices, she saw Yunjin only a handful of times. Yes, Yujian said, but I got the news from Lao Ba. It seems that the master is in retreat because he wants to find a way to resurrect you. Si frowned, but the fifth senior brother said that my soul breath was gone at that time. What can the master do? And if the master can really sense my soul, wouldn't the master know that I am alive now? Who knows? If the master doesn't come out of seclusion, we won't be able to see him. Yujian shrugged and saw Si holding a needle in his hand. Little junior sister, are you giving people acupuncture? Si said in a brisk tone, no, I'm embroidering clothes for my boyfriend. Third senior sister, look at this pattern, doesn't it look good? Tsukimi. After a few seconds, she spoke slowly, junior sister, do you believe it or not, if I let ER and the others find out, they will beat your boyfriend to death. The relationship between the second child and the junior sister is so good, not to mention getting a piece of clothing, not even sleeves. Si paused and counted the remaining scraps, then I'll embroider a handkerchief for him. Yujian clicked his tongue, you can make your dick deflate, little junior sister, you have a way of doing it. After the call ended, Si was still thinking about what he had just seen. A voice fell in her ear, we are in T18 during the banquet. I didn't cause any trouble for you, did I? No, Si said lazily, he is quite good and has completed a few tasks. However, he didn't ask for salary, so he asked me for a box of tea. I put a few more boxes in your yard so he can go get them when he doesn't have enough. Uzion lowered his eyes and said lightly, you don't have to spoil him like this. I fucking blinked, I spoil you. Uzion paused her hands and said in a cold voice, well, you can continue. He put down the teacup and caught a glimpse of the fabric in her hand. Doing what? I'll show you when I'm done. I fucking immediately hid behind him, not now. Uzion's eyebrows moved, then I'll be waiting. The Huo family's side. Huo Yangxing inadvertently picked up a few more bags of tea and came back, which was greatly praised by Huo Tianwen. These teas also successfully cleared Mrs. Huo's meridians a lot. After her health improved, she accepted the invitation from Eternal College and returned to the law enforcement team as a guest elder. They are only responsible for discussions and do not participate in actions. The housekeeper is reporting today's events to Mrs. Huo. My uncle is back, but Miss Shiyun is still not in a high mood. She hasn't eaten for a day. Check where she went and who she met. Mrs. Huo shook her head, this child is really worrying. Mom, you don't care what she does, Huo Tianwen said coldly, give her some time to dry. If no one cares about her for a few days, she will stop doing it. At 50 years old, it's time to accept her fate. She'll be making trouble all day long. What? Alas. Mrs. Huo sighed and said nothing. The housekeeper hurried down and came back soon. Old madam, head of the house, Miss went to a paternity testing center on the street the day before yesterday. When she comes back. The words paternity test made Huo Tianwen and Mrs. Huo look at each other. Mrs. Huo said, call and ask. The housekeeper found the phone number, dialed it and handed it to Mrs. Huo. Mrs. Huo, that's it. The person in charge hesitated for a moment, then said it, Miss Shiyun did a paternity test at our place a few days ago. Her face was not very good at that time. This chapter has a lot of information. The senior brother is coming out. Sixth brother, don't wait until the senior brother recognizes Ching Ching. You are still spinning on the runway. In fact, some babies have already guessed part of the plot, but I adhere to the principle of no spoilers in plot-based novels. Later. Ching Ching, I brought your ashes out. His Majesty. See you tomorrow. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. After having everything taken away, she returns as a god. Author, Qing Qian. Chapter 684. Mrs. Huo frowned when she heard this. Are you saying that Shiyun came to you alone to do a paternity test? Yes, yes, yes. The person in charge was very frightened. The identification results are correct. She is your biological daughter. I even comforted her. I don't know what happened to Miss Shiyun. Mrs. Huo frowned even more, and went directly upstairs to find Huo Shiyun without asking any more questions. Huo Shiyun had just finished discussing the action with Yu Shuming 2 days ago, and was suddenly found by Mrs. Huo, feeling a little panicked. She put on an ugly smile. Mom. Why did you go for a paternity test? Mrs. Huo asked. You didn't say anything to me about such a thing. Mom, I'm scared too, Huo Shiyun said with tears. I'm worried that if one day I am no longer my biological child, you will ignore me, so I ran to do a paternity test again. Madame Huo sighed. Okay, don't think about these things, just take a good rest at home. Huo Shiyun cried a lot, and sometimes she would feel upset. How could the daughter of the Huo family have such a soft temperament as Huo Shiyun? Mom, I'm sorry, I'm really scared. Huo Shiyun said in a low voice, I felt like I was going to die at that time. If I hadn't felt you calling me, I might have followed my sister. She knew how to make Mrs. Huo sympathize with her endlessly and feel guilty for her. Mrs. Huo's expression softened. Mom knows, as long as you stay safe and don't cause trouble anymore, I will protect you for the rest of your life. Upon hearing this, Huo Shiyun responded obediently, "Thank you, Mom." Her head was buried lower, and where Mrs. Huo couldn't see her, there was a dark and sinister expression. Fortunately, when she took the paternity test, she didn't write down whose hair it was and used A and B instead. No one knew whose hair she had. Indeed, we cannot wait any longer and must get rid of Xia Yangqiu as soon as possible. When the time comes to die without proof, the Huo family will still belong to her alone. Madame Huo comforted Huo Shiyun a few more words and then went downstairs. After she relayed the conversation to Huo Tianwen, she took the escort to Eternal College. Huo Tianwen took a look and asked, "What do you think?" Huo Yangxing said calmly, "Something is wrong, things are not like what she said." Yeah, Huo Tianwen lit the cigarette ashes, "Go find some people and keep an eye on her. I want to see what she is going to do." Huo Yangxing's face was expressionless. He completed 8 tasks in T18 before getting enough tea from Sci-fi. By the way, Huo Tianwen remembered something. "Why did you suddenly switch to T18? Zero's chief abused you." Huo Yangxing, "No. He was always embarrassed to say that he went to T18 to keep an eye on a heartless woman who stole his innocence." The phone dinged, and a message came in. "Tsukimi, drink, come quickly. This is their secret code." After working at T18 for so long, Huo Yangxing finally understood why Yu Jian often went to bars. It is indeed a good place to gather information and disguise. Moreover, he had already investigated and found out that those little bartenders were not as good as him at all, so he was very relieved. Huo Yangxing stood up immediately and hurried out. Looking at his back, Huo Tianwen snorted coldly, "You brat, you thought I couldn't see that you were chasing women. That's how I chased your mother back then, and you still pretended to be in front of me." Huo Yangxing is the best of his generation, and even the Ye family plans to send the eldest daughter over for marriage. However, Huo Tianwen rejected them one by one. Who Huo Yangxing likes is the most important thing. Huo Tianwen put his hands behind his back and walked around the garden humming a song. He was in a very good mood. It seems that he will have a daughter-in-law soon. In the past few days, Sci-fi and Yu Zian traveled all over Kangyun Prairie and came to Yunwu Lake. For a long time, Sci-fi had not been so comfortable and at ease. It reminded her of her childhood adventures with Ye Turnan in the forest. The breeze blew, and she rested her head on Ye Wanlan's lap, listening to her tell her stories. Rare silence. On the morning of the 5th day, Sang Yanking called, and Sci-fi started packing her luggage. Yu Zian looked at her, "Are you leaving?" "Well, after signing the contract, I have to leave." Sci-fi clenched his fists. Being a worker has a working soul, and being a worker means being superior to others. Yu Zian smiled slightly, raised his hand and patted her head, "Don't be too tired, you can rest more. It will only be recorded for 3 days." Sci-fi blinked, "Just wait for me, and then we will continue traveling." Yu Zian hummed, but stepped forward and took the luggage in her hand. "Let's go." Sci-fi, the big stars are going to act, and I'm going to visit the cast." Yu Zian smiled lightly, "Will a girlfriend not even give her boyfriend this right?" Sci-fi looked at him, "Yes, as long as you don't show up suddenly." Fortunately, she can change her voice, otherwise she would not be able to explain clearly to her fans during the live broadcast. Especially after the Yu group changed hands, the media reported extensively on Yu Zian. Coupled with his face that brings disaster to the country and the people, his popularity is almost as high as that of A-list celebrities. With a family, a job, good looks, and a figure, she is the center of attention wherever she goes. Yu Zian raised his eyebrows slightly and responded calmly, "Yeah, okay. He will show up openly." On the other side, the Road to Historical Relics program team. This variety show is the same as 66 Days to Survive that Sci-Fi participated in, and adopts two methods, live broadcast and editing. Let the audience explore the ruins along with the program team. Post-production will edit the classic clips into a collection and upload them all over the internet. The director was a student brought out by Director Cheen, and it was only through Director Cheen that the invitation contract was handed over to Sci-Fi this time. Sci-Fi came and brought a thank you, and the director danced with the assistant director excitedly. Everyone knows that the three words Sci-Fi represent guaranteed ratings and absolute popularity. She has absolute dominance in the entertainment industry. Not to mention, since the variety show The Birth of a Staff ended at the beginning of this year, Sci-Fi has not participated in large-scale interactive variety shows again. Road to Historical Relics can show the freshest Sci-Fi to the audience for the first time, attracting the attention of all MUSI. Come on, teachers. The director clapped his hands, with a proud look on his face. Teacher SI is coming to our program group today, and we will have a feast to welcome the wind and cleanse the dust together tonight. She is from the Department of Archaeology of Sia University. When the time comes to explore the ruins, you should take more care of her. As soon as these words came out, several regular guests had different expressions. A young man was very excited. My wife is coming today? Okay, director, don't worry, I'm sure. You. The girl next to him glared at him. Don't steal your wife from me. The director's mouth twitched. Don't call me that in front of teacher SI. The two said in unison, no. The director was very satisfied. Zhang Qiang, Yun 11, you are both the same age as teacher SI, so it will be easier for you to get along with each other. Zhang Qiang responded reluctantly. Byungzi seemed to have just come back to his senses and smiled. I know, director. The director nodded. Okay, teacher SI will be here soon, everyone is ready. The crowd dispersed. Youngzi, why do everyone and the camera have to circle around Sci-Fi when she comes? Zhang Qiang was very dissatisfied. None of us are her elders. Why should we follow her? They all debuted earlier than Sci-Fi, and they have filmed more movies, TV series, and variety shows. In particular, Byungzi, who is known as the nation's first love, was discovered by a talent scout when she was a child. After growing up, I successfully entered Xiaoying. After graduating the year before last, I also filmed 2 TV series and movies. But unfortunately, it was quite satisfactory and did not cause much splash. Especially in the past year or so, there have been a series of phenomenal hit dramas such as The Devil and the Heroine of the Kingdom. Not to mention little flowers like Byungzi, even some veteran actors were far behind Sci-Fi. Byungzi shook her head, her voice a little bitter. She is going to compete for the best actress in Grain. We are no longer in the same world as them. There's no comparison at all. No one can deny that Sci-Fi is the star of the entertainment industry. In just over a year, she surpassed everyone in her achievements. Youngzi, you can't think like that. At that time, the director said that you were the core of this variety show. Zhang Qiang lowered her voice. She is already in the limelight, and we can't let her block all your shots. Byungzi pursed her lower lip and said nothing. She clicked on her phone. Zhang Qiang's sharp eyes saw her cell phone screensaver. Wait, Zhang Qiang said in surprise, isn't this Mr. Yu Zion? Isn't he your boyfriend? After having everything taken away, she returns as a god. Author, Qing Qian. Chapter 685. Zhang Qiang doesn't care about financial and business news. But Yu Zion was so popular that many people even blocked him at the entrance of the U Group's building every day, wanting to see him in person. It's a pity that no matter how smart the paparazzi is, they can't find Yu Zion's person. A blush appeared on Byungzi's face, and his voice was very low. No, don't talk nonsense. I know, Zhang Qiang suddenly realized. She smiled. Youngzi, I won't tell you until you announce your relationship. Byungzi held her phone, neither nodding nor shaking her head, and her face became even redder. A few years ago, when the Yu family was still there, she was lucky enough to go to the Yu family's banquet and see Yu Zion. At that time, he was still in a wheelchair and no strangers were allowed in. But now, he has become the object of everyone's desire. This proves that she has a good eye. Youngzi, then you don't have to worry anymore. Zhang Qiang couldn't help but get excited. If SI fucking dares to steal the camera, tell Mr. Yu and he will definitely help you vent your anger. Byungzi pushed her, let's go, she's coming. Zhang Qiang then stopped speaking, but she was still thinking about the future in her heart. If she pleases Byungzi more, she might be able to look familiar in front of Yu Zion and get more resources. The entrance to the set. A black car stopped, low-key and luxurious. SI fucking jumped out of the car and took the luggage from Yu Zion. She waved, remember to contact me first when you come to visit the class. Yu Zion snorted. He tilted his head and pressed a kiss on her lips, very softly, wait for me. SI fucking walked a few steps inside with her suitcase in hand, and a staff member immediately came forward to help her. Director, teacher SI is here, a staff member was elated. He also brought a very handsome man, but unfortunately I didn't see his face. I guess he must be teacher C's boyfriend. The director kicked him and said angrily, how do you know he is handsome without seeing his face? What a figure. The staff became even more excited. That figure can't be compared to that of international supermodels, and it's almost a head taller than teacher SI. The two of them are perfect for each other. I have never seen a man who can be as good as teacher SI. The director was a little surprised. SI fucking is tall, over 1.7 meters tall. My aura is too strong, which makes anyone who plays opposite her become the suppressed party unless she takes the initiative to curb her aura. Therefore, SI fucking is also nicknamed the Grand Offensive in the entertainment industry. The director hurried out, leaving SI fucking alone in front of the car. The photographer also ran out, and all the shots focused on SI fucking. My wife is here. Baby Ching Ching, look at me. I can finally watch my goddess's variety show again, and I look forward to the director's heart bursting. As soon as this barrage came out, it was followed by a lot of expectations. Director. He was a little confused and went up to greet SI fucking, hello, teacher SI, I am Director Chin's student and I have wanted to cooperate with you for a long time. SI fucking nodded, as a student of Director Chin, I will give you a few pills for free. She is so sweet. The director looked at the medicine bottle in his hand, feeling a little confused. Later, Zhang Qiang and Byungzi were grabbed by their manager and warned. You should follow SI fucking more, the manager said, this way we can have more scenes. If you have nothing to say, you have to find something to talk about. It's good to get a little bit of attention. Zhang Qiang endured the nausea in her heart, but still put on a smile and stepped forward. Teacher SI, I am Byungzi. Byungzi smiled, we met at the performance of Youth. I wonder if teacher SI still remembers me. SI fucking was very polite, and distant, hello. Zhang Qiang sneered in her heart and said hello. At that time, Zhang Qiang also went to the crew of the heroine of the kingdom for an interview. It was after Zhang Suanjin's tomb was discovered, and the story of him and Su Yunchu spread again. She immediately decided to win the role of Su Yunchu. This role completely fits the popular offline image of a beautiful, strong, and miserable character. But before she even entered the director's room, she was informed that all the candidates for important roles would be decided by SI fucking. As expected later, although Su Yunchu, played by Ji Kinjeo, only had one episode, and now that the female general is about to reach its finale, her popularity remains high. Zhang Qiang was very jealous. If she had acted, she would have definitely become famous. With such a good opportunity, Why should an amateur act who won't take up any resources in the entertainment industry? Therefore, Zhang Qiang was extremely dissatisfied with SI fucking. Goddess, the other two regular guests surrounded SI fucking on the left and right. Goddess, let's go over there. Zhang Qiang crossed her arms. Yongzi, look at her arrogant look, she doesn't even recognize you. Yongzi shook his head, it's normal if you don't remember. We haven't even spoken. Anyway, men won't like her like this. While Zhang Qiang stepped down from SI fucking, she didn't forget to praise Yongzi. Yongzi, you are the most popular among men. No matter how good her career is, it doesn't matter. Yongzi frowned, let's go there too. Under the arrangement of the director, the crew had lunch. Today is a rest day, there are no ruins to explore, and the guests are all doing their own thing. The crew is also staffed by archaeological professionals, and one of the archaeology professors is a retired tennis player. Guests and staff took turns playing tennis with the professor. Now it's Yongzi's turn. She actually caught a few of the professor's balls. Teacher, she plays tennis really well, the boy exclaimed. I didn't expect that she looks so weak and has so much strength. Teacher, what do you think? SI fucking heard this and glanced lazily. Well, it's not bad. Neither of them picked wheat, and the conversation was clearly transmitted into the live broadcast equipment. Fans of Yongzi suddenly became unhappy. What do you mean it's okay? Doesn't SI fucking know that Yongzi used to be in the youth training team? He also won the first place in the youth group of the state sports meeting. Skills have specializations. SI fucking doesn't understand sports, so don't talk nonsense. If Yongzi had not come to the entertainment industry, he would already be an athlete on the national team. Big stars are amazing. Big stars can look down on Xiahua. After all, Yongzi is still a senior. The boy was stunned. Goddess, do you know tennis? SI fucking paused. She recalled the time when she was being trained by her senior brother and sighed, I don't understand, I was very rubbish. Goddess, you've learned a lot, and I'm really bad at playing. The boy scratched his head. Why don't we go practice too? SI fucking declined politely. I can only watch, I can't fight, so I can just say a few words. The boy asked humbly, then you watch other teachers' balls? SI fucking held his chin and looked at it for a while. Her ball is not strong enough. Hitting it like this will hurt her wrist, and there. Zhang Qiang couldn't stand listening anymore. She took off the wheat and walked to a place where the cameras could not capture it. Then she said with a cold face, can you fight? Are you just pointing fingers? How about you come up and try to fight? As expected, it was as others said, SI fucking would have a hand in any field. If SI fucking had gone to the laboratory or game live broadcast quietly and not competed for their resources, Zhang Qiang would not have been so resentful. The director stood up in time and signaled her to be quiet. Zhang Qiang. Zhang Qiang said coldly, Director, I have already followed your instructions, but now it is just leisure time, so there is no need for me to spoil her, right? She then pointed to the live broadcast backstage, Director, if you don't look at me, you also look at the public's reaction. She didn't even pick the wheat when she pointed out Yongzi just now. SI fucking's originally lazy expression dropped. She straightened up and looked at the barrage carefully. There were many muses who came to the live broadcast room to watch her, and they all protected her immediately. Zhang Qiang snorted coldly, did you see it? It doesn't matter what you say casually. Your fans will bear all the ill will. SI fucking stood up, then let's have a fight. The director was stunned, Teacher SI, are you serious? SI fucking picked up the racket, weighed it in his hand, and said lightly, I learned it after watching 2 games, let's give it a try. She wants to give her fans the greatest confidence. 2 updates in the morning together. Darlings, please give me a monthly ticket. There will be 3 updates in the afternoon. Thank you for your comfort, baby's tea. Comments during special periods have been hidden. Don't panic, they will be restored in a few days. After having everything taken away, she returns as a god. Author, Qing Qian. Chapter 686. She protects her fans. Those who have time to watch the live broadcast are die-hard MUSI, and she doesn't need them to rush ahead and bear the malice of other opponents. She should be the one protecting them. You know it after watching 2 games, Zhang Qiang put on the microphone again, looking very surprised. Then you are really amazing, you are a natural tennis player. The director frowned and said coldly, Zhang Qiang. Zhang Qiang shut up for a moment and shrank. Sci-fi took the racket and walked to the temporary tennis court. Let's get started. There's no need for Yun 11 to fight you, Zhang Qiang snorted. You're a beginner, and I've learned a little bit. We can just fight. Sci-fi didn't look at Zhang Qiang twice. It doesn't matter. Except for the first senior brother and the second senior brother, it doesn't matter who you fight with. When the director saw that Sci-fi insisted on appearing, he recalled that his teacher, Director Qin, told him that as long as Sci-fi arrived on the set, she could give full control of the scene to her. She is a natural focus and has strong control. If you insist on running into her, it will only be someone else who suffers. The director shook his head and began to mourn Zhang Qiang in his heart. Byungzi was on the field and naturally heard Zhang Qiang's words. She wiped her sweat and smiled good-naturedly. Teacher Si, it's easy to get injured if you haven't learned tennis before. Your hands must be very important, so be careful. Well, thank you, you too, Si said in a lazy tone, but did not move away. Zhang Qiang whispered, Yungzi, don't stick to her cold butt, she won't appreciate it. Si is so insensitive, why is he going to play right now? Zhang Qiang also trained with Yungzi in previous episodes of the program. Si is good at Kung Fu, but I haven't seen her make any achievements in ball sports. Tennis is not played by as many people as basketball or table tennis, and relatively few people understand it. Netizens are also just laymen watching the excitement. Si stood still on the court, the right to serve was in her hands. She turned the racket seemingly casually. Snapped. The ball jumped over the net at extremely fast speed and headed towards Zhang Qiang. It's a beautiful S-ball. The middle-aged professor looked down and exclaimed, oh. The ball was too fast, and Zhang Qiang could not withstand the huge force of the ball. Not to mention catching the ball, her whole body was impacted by the force and she leaned back. After staggering a few steps, he still couldn't steady his body and sat down directly on the ground. There was silence. It was the director who reacted first and asked the staff to help Zhang Qiang up. As soon as Si came on stage, the photographers also came over. This scene was clearly transmitted to the live broadcast room. Wife, can you still play tennis? What else do you know that I don't know? Didn't Zhang Qiang know that the martial arts scenes of Genkuo's female generals were all performed by Qing Bao herself? That spear weighs dozens of kilograms. Si was using brute force and had no skills at all, so it was just a slap in the face. Zhang Qiang, who was also in her early 20s, couldn't hold it back and cried in front of the camera. Naturally, her fans felt sorry for her and immediately pointed the finger at Si and began to scold her, but they were beaten away by the muses in minutes. Byungzi stepped forward, Teacher Si, let me fight you. Si said casually, okay. She still serves the ball, and it is still a very powerful ball. But Byungzi was indeed more skilled than Zhang Qiang, and she caught the ball forcefully. Si returned the ball casually. Byungzi once again caught the ball, but his wrist suffered a huge impact and hurt. When the third ball flew over, she had no choice but to give up. Byungzi smiled bitterly, sorry, my wrist can't bear it. After just 2 catches, she couldn't hit anymore. On the other hand, Si fucking was still able to do it with ease and didn't even make any effort. Byungzi pursed her lower lip, and the gap in her heart had reached a state that was difficult to fill. The middle-aged professor who was watching from the side rushed forward impatiently, "Not for non-professionals, hurry up, you have a fight with me." Si fucking's expression became serious. "Teacher, please give me more advice." The middle-aged professor moved for a moment. "Come on, let's get started." Everyone at the scene watched the two men fighting intently. The director looked at it and had a very strange idea in his mind. Si fucking won't let it go, right? Otherwise, how could the professor receive so many blows? As soon as this thought came to mind, the next second, a ball came flying towards me. Traverse the ball. A ball that breaks through the opponent's defense and lands in bounds. The middle-aged professor looked at this ball, which was very difficult to hit on the court, with very fiery eyes. He sighed, "I admit defeat, I can't catch this ball." As soon as this sentence came out, the whole audience was in an uproar. There are very few people who understand tennis, and even the director is a little confused. The middle-aged professor put down his racket, shook hands with Si fucking, and asked kindly, "Have you practiced?" Of course he could also see that Si fucking had given him enough face, otherwise he would have lost 1 point within 3 goals. Si fucking nodded slightly, "That's right, I haven't had a fight in a long time." She learned tennis and played with her senior and second senior brothers in her spare time. In the entire division, she is the best at fighting. In the end, she was treated as autistic by her senior brother. From then on, she sealed her heart and never wanted to touch tennis again. "Oh my God, have you really never practiced specifically?" The middle-aged professor excitedly held her shoulders. "You are simply a natural tennis player." In excitement, he couldn't help but swore, "If I had discovered you earlier, I would never have let you enter the entertainment industry to act." Director. Other people. Sang Yanking took a sip of tea very calmly. She has long been used to it. Netizens who watched the live broadcast were dumbfounded. Although the middle-aged professor has been retired for more than 10 years, his strength is now insufficient. But after all, he was trained orthodoxly by the national team, and his professional skills and vision are extremely good. He said this, which shows that Si fucking really has the ability to enter the national team. The mouses just want to cry. "Professor, please let her go. Can you let her stay well in the entertainment industry? Help, this woman, please remember that your job is to be an actor, don't do anything else." Every day, I am on guard against idols withdrawing from the industry, forcing myself to smile.jpg. Ouch, what about those people who jumped before and said that we don't understand sports competition so we shouldn't point fingers? Why don't I see you guys coming out? Just asking if your face is okay? Hey, she really knows everything. Are you angry? You're right to be pissed off. Fans of Byungzi and Jang Jiang have all stopped talking and shrunk, losing their previous arrogance. Even the middle-aged professor lost to Si fucking, and no one played tennis anymore. The director was also afraid of causing further trouble and had the equipment confiscated. The boy's face was stiff. "Goddess, isn't there something different between yours and mine? Can't you call this?" "What could that be?" Si fucking touched his chin and raised his eyebrows. "Is there any?" Comparing her medical skills, she is indeed not very good at playing tennis. Zhang Qiang was already furious. When she heard this, her face turned green and she was so angry. "Did you do it on purpose? Even retired athletes on the tennis team can win, but they say they can't?" Si fucking turned his head and said calmly, "Do I know you?" Zhang Qiang's expression froze. Si fucking narrowed his fox eyes slightly. "Apologize." Zhang Qiang suddenly stood up. "You." Si fucking took his time and said, "Otherwise I won't record it, and it's up to you." Zhang Qiang's face suddenly turned pale. If Si fucking left like this, she believed that her name would appear on Weibo within an hour. Zhang Qiang muttered, "Yes, I'm sorry. Louder please." "Sorry. What are you doing so loudly, you think everyone else is deaf?" Zhang Qiang's face turned red, and she didn't dare to get angry or speak. Sci-fi greeted the director and entered the lounge. Sang Yanking thoughtfully handed her milk tea. Sci-fi said lazily, "It feels good to be a big name." "You call this a big show?" Sang Yanking shook his head, "Even a fool can see that the woman did it on purpose." Sci-fi said casually, "Her fans can't see it, so I'll help them wake up." Sang Yanking crossed his arms, "Anyway, don't hold back. Do whatever you want. I won't lie. Now the entire domestic entertainment industry combined is no match for you." She was also worried about having no work to do, and really hoped that someone would come to her door. Sci-fi leaned on the recliner and chatted with Yu Zion. "Boyfriend, what time does it end in the evening?" Sci-fi, 5:30. "Boyfriend, well, I'll pick you up and wait for me at the program set." Sci-fi replied with an okay emoticon. Another lounge. "Youngzi, I really don't know," she must be pretending. Zhang Qiang was very annoyed, she was playing hard to get, making us think she couldn't do it. She has always been like this. She has been pretending since youth. At that time, she deliberately invited your dubbing Qing Huan to the scene just to target you. Bi Youngzi hesitated for a moment, she's not so scheming. Why not? Zhang Qiang hated the iron. Youngzi, you are too naive. She can get to this point because she not only has scheming but also has financial backers. There are so many capable people, why is she the only one who stands out? Bi Youngzi whispered, "What you said makes sense. Youngzi, Mr. Yu is so powerful, and he is your boyfriend, you should let him help you more." Zhang Qiang encouraged her, "With his help, why worry about you not becoming popular?" Bi Youngzi said vaguely, "I don't want to trouble him." Zhang Qiang was angry and refused to argue, but it was hard to say much. "You went too far today. I'll treat the crew to dinner tonight and apologize to Teacher Si." Bi Youngzi said, "Don't be so obvious about what you do." Zhang Qiang reluctantly agreed. "Teacher Si, do you want to have dinner with us tonight?" Bi Youngzi knocked on the door of the lounge number 1 and extended an invitation, "I'm treating you." The manager was right. While Si would stay on the show set for nearly a week, she had to try to find as much time as possible to spend time with Si. Even if she just goes out for a meal, as long as entertainment reporters take photos of her, she will become popular. "No," Si yawned, "my boyfriend is coming to pick me up, please give in." As soon as the sentence came out, everyone in the crew was stunned. Third update. Weekend gift darlings, can you give Ching Ching a few monthly votes? You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. After having everything taken away, she returns as a god. Author, Qing Qian. Chapter 687. The director stammered, "Si, Teacher Si really has a boyfriend." "Well," Si waved his hand, "my boyfriend is stingy, so I won't eat with you. You go find Xiaoyu. He is so poor that he has nothing to eat recently." Xiaobai innocently stuck out his furry little head. "Okay, Teacher Si, walk slowly," the director said, "I'm really sorry for what happened today." Si put on his coat, "It has nothing to do with you, it's okay." Others were also curious about the boyfriend Si mentioned. Zhang Qiang lowered her voice, "Youngzi, her career is so strong, no man will like a woman who is stronger than him. Either it's the pretty boy she keeps, or it's the old man who keeps her. Anyway, the relationship is not equal." Biangzi didn't leave either, staring at the intersection intently. She also wanted to know who Si boyfriend was. 3 minutes later, A car stopped on the side of the road. The car door opened, and a hand stretched out and pulled Sci-fucking up. The door closed again, and the car drove away, ruthlessly blocking the eyes of others. The man did not show his face from beginning to end, only a part of his wrist and a watch on his wrist were exposed to everyone's sight. Just such a part has already captured everyone's attention. After the car drove away, everyone came back to their senses one after another. The boy blurted out, "That watch seems to be a product of room. It is an old model many years ago, but it is sold in limited quantities. The people who can buy it must be the rich and powerful. It can't be the president of RM, right?" Zhang Qiang deliberately said loudly. "Yongzi, last time you attended, it seems that you saw that the president of RM is a middle-aged foreign man." Yongzi said nothing and looked a little pale. She always felt that this car was familiar. She seemed to have seen it somewhere before, but she couldn't think of it for a while. Yongzi pursed her lower lip and shook her head. "I have never met President RM, I just heard what others said." Zhang Qiang sneered, "I knew she must have been kept." Yongzi stopped her next words, "Let's go and eat." Here, Yu Zian parked the car in front of a courtyard. This is a small restaurant, and he knows the owner. The environment of the restaurant is quiet and private. The two sat down, and the waiter first served 2 plates of exquisite snacks. Sci-fucking looked at the watch in his hand. "As the president of RM, don't your employees give you the latest watch?" Yu Zian lowered his head and gently rubbed the tip of her nose. He laughed softly, with a bit of laziness. "I don't have to, that's making money from the Western continent. Taking over the RM brand can be regarded as completing a goal that was not achieved in the previous life." He was originally very interested in the evaluations of later generations, and sometimes read them as stories. Today's children are very interesting. They all want to travel back to the great Xia dynasty and give them a world map so that they can conquer the Western continent. Sci-fucking looked serious. "Brother Ninth, you are really a little genius at making money, I want to learn from you." She took out her computer and started working. As soon as he raised his hand, she pushed him away. "Don't disturb me from making money." Yu Zian looked at his empty hands and felt for the first time what it meant to shoot himself in the foot. He sighed, if the girl was born in ancient times, she would not be a fool. Beauty attacks are obviously of no use in front of career. On Weibo, Sci-fucking's name has been on the hot search list. At the same time, there are also the names of Yongzi and Zhang Qiang. Fans of both families are still very angry about today's live broadcast and are trying hard to catch Moose and scold them. Sci-fucking posted on Weibo. At Sci-fucking just look at me, no arguments or quarrels, I will be your backing. The Muses immediately ran over, asking for kisses and hugs from below. I finally understand why Sci-fucking has so many fans. The strength of the first person is there, he wins awards one after another, and his career is more exciting than the other fans. Secondly, look at people's attitude towards fans. If anything happens, they will immediately come out to protect fans. It's not like a certain innocent little flower has been hiding behind fans, like a coward. Can you please stand up and chase stars? I would rather spend money on Sci-fucking. Moose. No, the team of love rivals has begun to grow again. While working hard to make money, Sci-fucking received news from Xiaoyu. "Xiaoyu, teacher Si, can you borrow some money? I have no money to stay in a hotel." Sci-fucking : "Sci-fucking, you might as well kill me." "Thank you." Xiaobai immediately put down the half-eaten gold brick. "I'm going to give you some money." Sci-fucking immediately picked it up, with a dangerous look in his eyes. "Naughty girl. You didn't even give me the gold that went into your mouth. Does she know that this stupid pixie loves money more than she does?" Xiaobai felt a little guilty. "Juju, I accidentally spent all my money on you. He really has no money to stay in a hotel." Sci-fucking. What a rebellious girl. While shedding tears of poverty, she transferred an account to Xiaoyu to repay Xiaobai's ration expenses. The next day, the program team then began exploring historical sites. This place is located in Yanmen, surrounded by the tombs of Zhang Haiping and Zhang Suanjin. Most of the photographers were following Sci-fi and Xiaoyu. Variety shows are indeed like this, and there will definitely be more scenes of top stars. But Sci-fi didn't want the camera. Whenever the camera fell on her, she would talk to the girl next to her. The girl also knew that this was Sci-fi's special shot for her. With tears in her eyes, she couldn't help but call out the nickname she had been thinking of, "Honey, you are really good." On the side, the boy was filled with envy. Just as he opened his mouth to scream, he heard a cold voice. Sci-fi didn't even raise his head. "If you dare to scream, try and see if I can let you out." Boy. It's so funny, a male fan with no status. Sci-fi, such double standards. Wow, I want to be on the show too. She is really doting on her fans. Who wouldn't want such a big wife? Feng San was also watching the live broadcast, and of course he saw these barrages. He carefully glanced at Yu Zian, who had a calm expression. Seeing that the man had no expression, his heart skipped a beat. Feng San immediately said, "Brother Ju, I have booked a restaurant. Can you and Miss Si go there tonight?" Yu Zian raised his eyes and hummed lightly. Feng San breathed a sigh of relief. In any case, his bonus was definitely saved. In the evening, after the day's live broadcast, Byungzi returned to the hotel. This is the only hotel in town, but the quality is not low. Byungzi is on the phone with friends in his circle. She didn't know what was said over there, and she couldn't hold back her surprise. Is he really here too? It's here. He lives on the 17th floor, which is the presidential suite No 1703. The other party said, "My nephew works in the hotel and saw him." "Okay, thank you for telling me," Byungzi said. "I will benefit you when the matter is completed." After hanging up the phone, she took a few deep breaths and already made a decision in her heart. 10 o'clock in the evening. Byungzi arrived at the door of room 1703. She was wearing a small white skirt, and her hair was messy and stuck to her neck. "Sir, I was drunk." Byungzi's face was red. She kept knocking on the door. Her expression was very painful. Please help me." She was able to get the title of National First Love, and of course she did a lot of marketing. Byungzi knew that she had great innate advantages in appearance. She looks innocent and can easily arouse men's protective desire. Her first heroine was cast only after she found a man. Byungzi didn't think anything was wrong. The entertainment industry is a place where profit comes first. If she doesn't do this, she will be submerged sooner or later. Byungzi knocked on the door for a long time, but it didn't open. But even if she faints here, the people inside will definitely take her in when they come back. Footsteps sounded at this moment. Byungzi gained strength again. Before she could turn around, a voice fell from above her head. "What are you doing kneeling here?" Si crossed his arms. "Do you need me to call an ambulance for you?" Byungzi was shocked for a moment. "Teacher Si, I'm not. Why is Si here?" When she thought of Si so-called Entertainment Industry Discipline Committee title, she felt a little panicked. Si glanced at the house number and narrowed his fox eyes, looking for someone. Byungzi bit her lip, sweating even more on her forehead. She opened her mouth. "Teacher Si, I was drunk. There's no one inside, so stop knocking." Si's voice was gentle and slightly raised. "Walk faster, someone is looking for you. Don't keep the little girl waiting. I think she's feeling quite uncomfortable." The last sentence was said to the person behind. The second footsteps sounded, steady and powerful. What caught the eye was a pair of legs, covered in dark gray suit pants, slender and strong. Even the light and shadow on the cufflinks show his dignity. This is truly a terrifying yet extremely elegant man. Byungzi was indeed very cruel to her, and she really drank a whole glass of wine with spices. At this moment, her whole body was burning, her thoughts were not clear, and her vision was a little blurry. "Sir, save me." Byungzi stretched out his hand with difficulty. "They forced me to drink." "Sir, only you can save me." She raised her head, tears streaming down her face, so touching. But the next second, she saw Uzion reaching out and covering Sci-Fucking's eyes first. He held the girl in his arms with his other hand, as if he had encountered something dirty, and took her 2 steps back. No matter how blurry Byungzi's vision is, he can't clearly see this action. The blood all over her body went cold, and fear exploded in her heart. Sci-Fucking and Uzion, they. Uzion didn't look at Farewell Yungzi, and said in a cool tone, "Throw it out." "Yes." Fengsan Hezishan took a step forward and lifted Byun 11 from the ground. In front of the hotel attendant at the back, he threw her directly into the trash can on the cleaning truck next to her. "So cool. If you have a monthly ticket, I can give it to your majesty. Thank you all. See you in the afternoon." After having everything taken away, she returns as a god. Author, Ching Qian. Chapter 688. The loud boom sound was very clear in the silent corridor. The trash can on the cleaning truck is already half a person tall, which is more than enough to hold a Byungzi. The hotel staff were stunned. Not to mention Byungzi, who was thrown into the trash can. The impact of alcohol and drugs on her nerves was far less than the humiliation, shock, and embarrassment of this moment. Her brain stopped spinning, and she couldn't even think. Zishang took the credit and said, "Brother Ninth, throw it away. It won't be visible now." Only then did Uzion put down his hand, with a calm expression on his face, "The person in charge." 3 words are a statement, but the pressure they bring is huge. The hotel manager rushed over in a panic. "Mr. Yu. Mr. Yu, please calm down. I didn't pay attention and let unrelated people disturb you." He wiped his sweat, turned around and yelled angrily, "Why are you still standing there? Why don't you take the garbage down and throw it away?" The hotel staff woke up from a dream and immediately pushed the cleaning cart into the elevator. "I'm so sorry, Mr. Yu," the hotel manager was still apologizing. "I've waived your accommodation fees for the past few days. You see." Uzion wiped her hands and said lightly, "There will be no next time." This sentence caused a cold sweat to break out of thin air on the hotel manager's back. As a hotel manager, he certainly wouldn't have known that Byungzi had come to this floor and drank the spiked wine. He allowed such behavior not to help Yoon 11. Instead, I thought that since it was delivered to my door on my own initiative, maybe Uzion would like this one, and he could be considered an adult beauty. Even a man can't control Byungzi's pitiful and charming look. But the hotel manager never expected that such a beautiful woman as Byungzi would be thrown into the trash can. Not only that, Uzion also saw what he was thinking. The hotel manager didn't dare to breathe, and his scalp was numb. "Don't worry, Mr. Yu, there will never be a next time." Uzion opened the door, let Sci-Fucking in, and blocked everyone else out. The hotel manager breathed a sigh of relief, his face still a little pale. How stupid he is. If he had known that Uzion was related to Sci-Fucking, how could he have thought that Uzion could like Byungzi? The hotel manager walked carelessly and almost rolled into the elevator. "In the presidential suite. What did you cover my eyes for just now?" Sci-Fucking looked at him coldly. "She came to you to treat her, why didn't you let me see?" "Sorry." Uzion paused and whispered, "I thought she was here for you." When he was at work, her variety show live broadcasts served as background music. No matter if I look up occasionally or when I look specifically, the word wife is always on the barrage. This made him realize that people of the same sex were also people he needed to be wary of. Sci-Fucking, okay. This explanation suited his character so well that she had nothing to say. Uzian lowered her eyelashes. After a moment, he suddenly smiled and said, "Can I call you that? I see all your little fans call you that." Si fucking was startled, but then he immediately responded, "Wait for me to practice my control ability, it's too fast, I'm not ready yet." She has long been used to it when the must call her that. But Uzian is different. Yes, he tilted his head, smiled lightly in her ear, and said two words, "Madam." His voice was as cold as ever, like a wind spirit jumping in the mountains. The wind passed without trace, but it was beating the tip of my heart crazily. Two words are enough to set off a storm. Si fucking stood up suddenly, "I'm going to take a shower." Ziobai looked at the dog owner who rushed into the bathroom in confusion. Is the role wrong? After taking a cold shower, Si fucking first glanced at the living room. There was no one in the living room, so Uzian went to the study to work. She wiped her hair and turned on the TV with confidence. The cell phone rang, very urgently. Si fucking picked up, "Hey, Tang Tang, what's wrong so late?" "Ching ching," Yu Tang said anxiously, "why didn't you say that the variety show you guest starred in was actually Youngzi?" Si fucking groaned, "Is it important?" She still doesn't know the specific words of Youngzi's name. Yu Tang said, "Ching ching, have you forgotten that I told you several times that it was this farewell Youngzi who crawled into my Uncle Ju's bed and was finally thrown out?" Si fucking. Yu Tang seemed to have said that. But she really had no impression. "Ching ching, don't look at this Youngzi who looks innocent on the outside. She is really broken." Yu Tang was very angry. "I have a friend whose fiancé was cheated by her, and she pretended to be pitiful afterward. After a miserable sale, she always wanted to go to the celebrity circle in Siju City. The nation's first love is all marketed, and she still takes the innocent route. Bah, it's disgusting. It's from her on that I don't believe in those characters in the entertainment industry." Yu Tang was still saying, "Ching ching, you have to be careful. If she has any thoughts about my Uncle Ju, you must call me and I will beat her with you." Si fucking was very interested, "Then she can try again." At this time, the mobile phone placed on the coffee table was picked up by a slender hand. Yu Tang Uzian's voice was calm, neither happy nor angry. "This is not something that Ching Ching needs to take care of personally. If there is such a thing in the future, just tell me directly." Yu Tang was stuck for a moment, not knowing what to say. But in just a second, she suddenly understood. Yu Tang Chao said loudly, "Uncle Ju, you are such a good man. No wonder Ching Ching likes you. Men's affairs should be solved by men. How can there be such a responsible person like you, Uncle Ju?" Uzian snorted, "Is the pocket money still enough?" Yu Tang said confidently, "It's not enough." Feng San, who came to deliver supper, heard these words clearly. When it comes to asking for pocket money, there really is no one better than Miss Yu Tang. It seems that he still needs to study more so that he can get more bonuses. The next day, the program team then proceeds to record. Today's destination is the State Museum in Bizhu, where many ancient cultural relics from the Great Xia dynasty have been unearthed. It was also Si fucking's first time here. She brought a special notebook to record important things at any time. Zhang Qiang saw it and sneered slightly. The live broadcast hasn't started yet, so why bother pretending to be a studious person with a notebook? Zhang Qiang turned around and saw Yongzi's stiff expression. She was a little confused. "Yongzi, what's wrong with you?" Yongzi smiled sadly, "No, it's nothing. She took a shower 7 times when she went back yesterday, but she still felt a putrid smell on her body. She has been in the entertainment industry for so long and has never encountered anything like that. More importantly, after what happened yesterday, she now only felt that she was an ugly clown in front of Si fucking." Zhang Qiang said anxiously, Did you and Mr. Yu yesterday? Byungzi raised his head suddenly, with tears in his eyes. Stop talking. Zhang Qiang just thought she was not embarrassed, so she wisely kept her mouth shut. Teacher Si, the director shouted, please come over here. Here we come, Si fucking responded. Zhang Qiang curled her lips. I don't know what kind of privileges are given to her. Director Si fucking walked over. What do you want from me? The director smiled and said, it's not me, it's someone from the General Sports Association. Si fucking raised her eyebrows. The director stepped aside. It was a middle-aged professor and another woman. Fu Qing, this is Coach Mo, the coach of the Daxia women's badminton team, the middle-aged professor said. She came from Siju City and has something important to discuss with you. Si fucking stretched out his hand and said politely, Coach Mo, hello. Hello. Coach Mo shook hands with her and said kindly, I have heard from Lao Li about you a long time ago. He said that he played a few games with you at Xia University and thought that you are qualified in small ball. Enter the second national team. The international games will start soon, so I came here to ask you if you are interested in being a substitute. Middle-aged professor. He looked at Si fucking in shock and despair, with one sentence written all over his eyes. Do you know how to play badminton and table tennis? Si fucking thought for a while and agreed, no problem, I'm not as bad at badminton as I am at tennis. I can give it a try. Fortunately it's not table tennis. At least the janitor at the top of the clouds can play table tennis better than her. When it comes to table tennis, she no longer seals off her love, but completely breaks up with her. The middle-aged professor looked at her stiffly, and the corners of his mouth twitched. Bad. This is called difference. What do others call it? Is there any problem with the definition of the word poor? Okay, Coach Mo was very happy. I recognize your ability, but you still need to be assessed. After you finish recording the variety show these days, come with me to the Daxia Sports Association. She took out a business card and handed it over. Si fucking put the business card away, thinking that he might get a bonus from the international games, and he felt a lot better. She whistled, Professor, the live broadcast will be live in a while. Let's play 2 more games to warm up, shall we? No, 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 the middle-aged professor immediately waved his hand. No more tennis, we won't play anymore, we can just sit back and do archaeology. Si fucking felt a little regretful. Okay then. She returned to the guest line and stuffed Xiaobai into Xiaoyu's pocket. Farewell. Yungzi, the producer, who had not been seen much, suddenly appeared with a cold face. Come on. Byungzi's heart skipped a beat. She lowered her head, not daring to look at anyone else, and hurriedly followed the producer. Producer Liu, you are looking for me. Before Byungzi finished speaking, he was interrupted. The producer put his cell phone in front of her and said, see for yourself. You are now the #1 trending search topic. That's amazing. Byungzi was stunned for a moment and saw the phone screen. #Byungzi hashtag. The first Weibo post under the hot search was a revelation from a marketing account. A well-known B actress appeared in a trash can late at night, covered in dirt. What was she doing? Someone commented below. What else could I do? I must have wanted to be a mistress but was thrown out. Byungzi's complexion instantly turned pale. You vote, I vote, green tea will be stabbed immediately. After having everything taken away, she returns as a god. Author, Qing Qian. Chapter 689. Don't scare me, she seems to be only 24 years old this year, and she just graduated from Xiaoying not long ago. What are you talking about? Arzixi is the nation's first love. When did she become a mistress? Don't spit blood. Looking at Arzixi, you can't wait to pour black water on it, right? Is a certain top-notch woman so ungrateful? Can't you see others being angry too? You won't be popular forever. The internet is already 2G, right, a few years ago, it was revealed that she appeared in a certain hotel and was slapped on the face by her real fiancé. There were also some large-scale photos. How come you all forgot about them? The internet spreads rapidly, and things that could be suppressed before can no longer be suppressed. But because of the rapid changes, new news emerges one after another. Today the star cheats, tomorrow the star cheats. This results in melon-eating netizens forgetting it very quickly. Unless it's a major event that causes a sensation on the entire internet. I remember. I was at the scene at the time, and Beyoncé cried so much that she cried like a pear blossom, and even blamed all the blame on the woman. I have never seen such a shameless person. It is the nature of netizens to eat melons, and gradually more netizens are digging into this matter. There are still many pictures from that time, and soon some netizens revealed what happened. It's really eye-catching. Someone actually said that she is pure, such a pure little white flower. Looks like he's a veteran. Did he crawl into some young man's bed again yesterday? You deserve to be thrown out. Well done. Do you all believe P's pictures? Zixi hasn't had any scandals in the past few years, so why does she have one when she stars in a variety show with a certain girl? It must be intentional. Fans of Beyoncé still refuse to admit it, insisting that it was P's picture. But no matter how loyal the fans are, they can't withstand the collapse of popularity among passers-by. The title of the nation's first love seems to have become a joke. Beyoncé raised his head hastily, with tears already in his eyes. He started crying. Producer Lou. I drank too much, and I accidentally fell in. She has obviously asked her agent to delete these news and photos, so why are they still there? After she won the title of National First Love at the age of 20, she has not had any blockbuster works in the past few years. She really wanted to be on the hot search, but she definitely wasn't going to do it in this way. The producer said coldly, "Farewell Youngzi, I don't care how messy your private life is, at least you keep it under control in front of the public. When you sign the contract, there is a clause in it. If a scandal breaks out during the filming of the variety show that affects the entire variety show, you will be responsible for all the consequences." Beyoncé is a regular guest on the variety show Historical Relics. Once something happens, the program team will suffer a major blow. You don't want to shoot today, follow the team and don't appear in the camera. The producer raised his hand to stop what she was about to say, and said lukewarmly, "Don't even think about rubbing off on Teacher Si and Teacher Sia, calm down." Beyoncé suddenly froze, and she opened her mouth, but Producer Lou, What are you? The producer slammed the table. Are you going to say you haven't done these things? Beyoncé pursed her lower lip. She has done this, and she does not deny it. Netizens brought it up again and did give her a wake-up call. She didn't succeed yesterday because she was discovered by Si fucking first. Si fucking had a bad temper, and naturally the man couldn't feel sorry for her in front of Si fucking. If Uzion was the only one, I think he would definitely not refuse her. By then she will be able to successfully ascend to the throne. Thinking of this, Beyoncé's mood improved a lot. "I'm sorry, director, I will never do it again," she apologized and left. In the director's room. "I think she looks determined to not give up." The producer lit a cigarette and said to the director, "Be prepared to delete all the scenes in Beyoncé." The director nodded solemnly. The producer let out a long sigh. Fortunately, Teacher Si and Teacher Sia came to the rescue in time. "We must film around the two of them. It is best to divide it into two parts, so as to ensure the ratings." The director's mind started to heat up, and he suddenly said, "Old Lou, people on the internet say that Teacher Si is that, yes, Entertainment Industry Discipline Committee member. Maybe it was Teacher Si who came and found out the cancer in our crew. She is so amazing, even more amazing than the rain god. What kind of god should this be called?" The producer looked at him as if he were an idiot. "Do you want to listen to what you said?" "Director." He should just quietly film variety shows. The State Museum of Northland was the first museum established with the theme of war. Bizhu was once occupied by barbarians for 20 years, and wars, large and small, continued one after another. There is also the famous Battle of Yanmen, and many weapons have been unearthed here. Teachers, this is a spear from 578 years of the lunar calendar. The commentator said, the spear has the word on it, so it is a special weapon for the Zhang family army, but the specific position of the user cannot be determined. And here the commentator added, this is the remains of Emperor Yin's imperial edict. Only part of it has been preserved, and the other part was burned in the war. The Yin style of calligraphy we are learning today was actually created by Emperor Yin himself. Sci-fi gently pressed her hand on the introduction board, her eyelashes trembling slightly. Emperor Yin. The young emperor came across thousands of rivers and mountains, but he only gave her a glimpse of him. Then, nothing was left. These days she studiously avoids holographic games. She might be able to use the game system to return to the Great Xia dynasty again. But she stayed with him for too long, from the age of 9 to the age of 27, and witnessed him grow from a boy to a man. She couldn't bear Daxia without him for a while. Today's shooting focuses on Sci-fi and Xiaoyu. Byungzi was ordered not to enter the shooting range. Zhang Qiang was able to take pictures, but basically had no lenses. What's so good about a dead person? Zhang Qiang Xinchen said quietly to Byungzi, I even cried when I saw it. She must have known that there was a camera pointed at her, so she did it deliberately. Yungzi, she is really scheming. Her die-hard fans must have been sold by her selling out in front of the camera. Byungzi responded softly this time. Sci-fi was indeed very scheming, much more powerful than the famous lady she had dealt with before. The commentator saw Sci-fi's behavior and asked with a smile, is teacher Si also a fan of Emperor Yin? Sci-fi smiled softly, yes, I love him very much. Who doesn't love him? She has always had a lot of respect and love for Emperor Yin. He respects the common people and helps the world with his heart. I love that his ambition is majestic and his strength is paramount. I love it too. I love your majesty very much. Your majesty is the perfect character, my destiny-like idol. It is really a great regret in life that I cannot sleep with his majesty in my lifetime. Although this is the first time that my wife admits that she loves someone, but if the love rival is his majesty, I will have to leave the show silently. It is really incomparable. Feng San looked at these barrages and spoke cautiously, Brother Ninth, Emperor Yin is just Miss C's idol. He can't compare to having you by her side. This is different. Yu Zian glanced at him. There was no joy or anger in this look, and it was hard to tell whether it was praise or blame. Feng San was a little confused. Did he make a mistake in flattering him this time? His face looked a little gloomy. He immediately shut up and didn't dare to speak anymore. Yu Zian closed her eyes slightly and raised her hand to touch where her heart was. He heard that there were many people who loved him, but she was the only one who could bring the greatest shock to his soul. Now he is no longer Emperor Yin, and he does not have the heavy responsibilities on his shoulders. He's just a regular guy who gets to do what he likes. Jealous. Yu Zian held his head and glanced at the live broadcast screen. Being jealous of myself was something I had never thought about before. The live broadcast continues. It's a pity that Emperor Yin's tomb has not been discovered until now, the narrator sighed, but this is good, let him sleep peacefully, and no one will disturb him. Archaeological teams never actively excavate tombs. Nowadays, the tombs have been discovered and a series of protection measures have been implemented. Except for those that have been exposed to weathering over time, the rest were destroyed by tomb thieves. Si exhaled slowly and whispered, well, let him have a good rest, he is too tired. She couldn't even tell them that Emperor Yin burned his body with fire. He had no grave at all, just his ashes scattered in the wind. "Let's go over there," the narrator said. Si took another look at the antiques in the glass cabinet before following. Xiaoyu followed Xiaobai with him. Xiaobai quietly ate the gold bricks and poked Xiaoyu. "Yu, your phone is vibrating. Answer the call quickly." It was so shaken that its body was shaking. Xiaoyu took off the wheat and took out his mobile phone. He frowned and answered, "Hello? Mom, what's wrong?" Xia Yangkaiu never took the initiative to call him, especially when he was working. The phone was connected, and there was heavy breathing on the other side. Xiaoyu's eyes changed. "Mom." Xia Yangkaiu is an A-level evolver, and has a combat power that is close to that of a super A-level. Even if he goes on an S-level mission from the Supernatural Administration, he can still escape unscathed. "Why are you breathing like this?" "Ayu, it's not convenient for me to be here, but someone is coming for you, run." Xia Yangkaiu's voice was rising and falling. "We don't have much time, listen to me carefully, you." Boom. There was a huge crash and the phone was disconnected instantly. Xiaoyu held the phone, his eyes that were always smiling turned cold and cold. He didn't know what happened to Xia Yangkaiu, but he had to find her as soon as possible. He took a deep breath and was about to take Xiaobai out and give it back to Si. When he looked up, Si, who was supposed to leave with the commentator, was right in front of him, looking at him quietly. Xiaoyu was startled. "Teacher Si." "You." "Yeah." Si also stopped smiling and said in a cool voice, "I heard it." The countdown to recognition begins. I will update in the afternoon. Please give me a monthly pass. Thank you everyone. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. After having everything taken away, she returns as a god. Author, Qing Qian. Chapter 690. Now that Si Evolver level has reached the Transcendental level, his hearing is naturally far beyond that of ordinary evolvers. Xiaoyu pursed his lower lip. "Teacher Si, something might have happened to my mother, and I have to leave. Call Uncle Yun and ask first." "Don't be without a clear direction." Si nodded. "I'll go with you. I'll take care of you." It's not like she didn't hear Xia Yangkaiu say that someone also came to see Xiaoyu. We still don't know who the other party is and what their purpose is, but no matter what, we cannot cause harm to innocent people. Xiaoyu called Yun Fengzi and walked out. At this moment, the loose aura all over his body was gone, and what was left was only an inextinguishable coldness. "Director, Xiaoyu and I have a family emergency and need to take a leave here." Si found the director and said quickly, "I will also pay the compensation for the delay caused by the program team." No need." The director waved his hand. "It's great that Mr. Si and Mr. Xia can come as flying guests. We can record other scenes first." Si pondered for a second and then said, "In this case, I will ask Ning Ning and his brother to come over and make guest appearances, and I will also invite Lu Tianho." The director was stunned. Before he could react, Si had already left Xia Yufeng, who had finished the phone call. With her other hand, she had apparently been sending messages to these people on her phone. In just an instant, the shadows of both of them disappeared. Is this the speed a human being can have? The director turned back stiffly. "Old Lu, and Professor, do you think Teacher Si is also good at sprinting?" Producer. Middle-aged professor. Just as he was talking, the producer's phone rang. It's a very cold female voice. Zhang Changning said, "I will take my brother to the program crew this afternoon to replace Si. Do I need to prepare anything?" The producer was stunned for a long time and then said hurriedly, No, there is no need to prepare. It is a great honor for us that Mr. Zhang can come. Last year, Zhang Changning became popular because of a cooking variety show. This year she filmed another school drama and has become a popular star with many fans. Especially the CP fans of her and Sci-Fucking, who are still firmly in the first position. The producer doesn't know much about Zhang Changfeng, but he also knows that Zhang Changfeng is the #1 assassin in the Oracle server and has fans all over the world. The brother and sister are very good looking. Fans have been waiting for them to share the stage for a long time, but no organizer can invite them. Sci-Fucking only needed a text message. Okay, Zhang Changning responded lightly, "You guys, wait a moment." Just after the phone call ended, news came from Lu Ningshen, saying that she would go there with her husband Shen 11. The producer was still a little confused. "You, pinch me?" snapped. The director unceremoniously gave him a thumbs up. Hiss. The producer rubbed his face and murmured, "No wonder they say that hiring teacher SI is equivalent to hiring half of the entertainment industry. Who in the entire entertainment industry has the ability to respond to everything like Sci-Fucking?" The director was convinced and asked curiously, "What do teacher SI and teacher Sia have in common?" Not sure. The producer put out the cigarette in his hand and looked at the footage just taken. "Don't tell me, teacher SI and teacher Sia really look alike." The director murmured, "Could it be that they are long-lost siblings?" Producer, "But teacher Sia is older than teacher SI." The director wiped his sweat. "Blame him. Sci-Fucking's aura was too strong, and Sia you acted like a good baby in front of her. It was really hard to imagine that he could still be an older brother." Outside, Sia Yu spoke to Yun Fengzi with a solemn expression. Sci-Fucking suddenly called him, "Thank you." Sia Yu raised his head. Stab dash. He only felt a pain in his scalp. When he came back to his senses, Sci-Fucking had a piece of his hair in his palm. Sia Yu's eyes were dark. "Don't look at me like that. It's just a piece of your hair." Sci-Fucking took out another talisman from his pocket. "With your hair, I can find the specific location of Aunt Sia. Although she only has one piece of talisman paper left that can track the target, she can ask the 5th senior brother for a stack later." Sia Yu looked at it with great interest. "Is this the method of the Onmyoji? I've never seen you use it before, Mr. SI." Sci-Fucking was very calm. "Nonsense, of course you haven't seen it, because I don't know how. This is a talisman given to me by someone else." Sia Yu. Soon, a coordinate appeared on the talisman paper. This coordinate is still changing as time goes by. Obviously Sia Yankai is moving quickly. "Send the coordinate information to Uncle Yun." Sci-Fucking threw a helmet to Sia Yu and took him into a sports car. "Fasten your seat belt as well. You will be able to sit still in a while. Don't blame me for not reminding you." Sia Yu carefully took protective measures and said, "Teacher SI, my father said that they are also looking for my mother. My mother's final location is in a small marginal city in Bizhu. They have already arrived in that city. They are still some distance away from the coordinates you gave. A grade A evolver who went berserk with power appeared there, and my mother went to take charge of suppressing it." Sci-Fucking narrowed his fox eyes lightly. "Conspiracy. There are not many unaffiliated A-level evolvers in the Daxia Empire, and those who do basically live a secluded life in big cities. The small peripheral cities are not developed and do not have enough resources for the evolvers to grow in strength." Sia Yu sighed softly. "I guess they have guessed it now, I dash. Uh-huh." A sharp turn. Sia Yu was almost thrown out. He used the power of the evolver in time to stabilize his body, and finally understood what Sci-Fucking meant when he asked him to sit still. Getting into Sci-Fucking's car was no different from dying. At this time, in the northernmost part of the state, heavy snow fell, turning the ground and buildings white. And among the white, there are traces of bright red flowing down. Sia Yankai glanced at the blood on her palms, gritted her teeth, tore off a piece of clothing and wrapped the wound on her abdomen. She took a deep breath, her brain dizzy from the excessive blood loss. But she knew she couldn't fall. Once she falls, these people's targets will definitely turn to Xiaoyu. But she really couldn't hold on for much longer. These people were clearly aware of her ability as an evolver. Therefore, the two A-level evolvers who attacked her had the ability to specifically restrain her evolvers. And the leader of this evolution is still the spiritual system. It can be said that the spiritual system can restrain almost all evolvers. After all, mental attacks are hard to guard against. As long as the other party makes her unconscious for half a second, she will be injured by other evolvers. Thank you, sir, there's no need to run away, you can't run away. A middle-aged man appeared in front of her. You are only one person, and I have evolvers here who can move instantly within short distances, you can't run away. This is true. Xia Yangkao sneered, if you want to kill me, you have to let me die, right? After hearing this, the middle-aged man looked her up and down with sharp eyes, as if to confirm whether she still had the possibility of survival. The probability is 0. Thank you, sir. It's such a pity that you offended people you shouldn't offend. The middle-aged man shook his head. You said it would be great for you to stay peacefully in Daxia. Why do you have to go to Free Continent? This harms both yourself and your son. The gain outweighs the loss. Xia Yangkao bit the tip of his tongue hard to stay awake. She looked at the middle-aged man coldly. Speak directly if you have something to say, I won't understand what you say. Okay, let me make it clear to you. The middle-aged man looked pitiful. Mr. Xia has never doubted the Xia family for so many years. How could an ordinary business family like you appear? A-level evolver. Xia Yangkao said nothing. It's not that she has never doubted it, she has always thought so. So after she joined the Supernatural Bureau, she immediately cut off all contact with the Xia family. The home she recognizes is the Supernatural Administration, and her real relatives are not that important anymore. Because you are the eldest lady of the Huo family, the middle-aged man added, Mrs. Huo gave birth to twins, and one of them died early. I didn't expect you to still be alive today. Xia Yangkao's pupils suddenly shrank. The Huo family. No wonder. No wonder she felt an unprecedented sense of familiarity when she first saw Mrs. Huo, and felt the urge to cry. Because mother and daughter are connected. Thank you, sir, you didn't expect that. Your identity is actually very important, right? The middle-aged man looked at her expression and smiled. If your identity is restored, I really don't dare to do anything to you. Miss Huo family, your status is extremely high in Free Continent. Xia Yangkao just sneered. But you are going to die, so take this secret to your grave. He showed a cruel smile. Don't worry, your son will go down to accompany you soon. As for Yun Fengzi, they didn't take it to heart at all. First of all, Yun Fengzi's evolution level is not high. Second, he has no blood relationship with the Huo family, and any resources of the Huo family will not be allocated to him. The Supernatural Administration is so powerful in Daxia, and is nothing in front of Free Continent. The middle-aged man no longer showed mercy. Do it. The spiritual evolvers in the team took a step forward and launched an attack on Xia Yangkao. Puff. Xia Yangkao spit out a mouthful of blood. She fell to the ground, her eyes gradually becoming dull. There were no new wounds on her body, but her spirit suffered an unprecedented blow. This spiritual evolver is destroying her spiritual system. At this moment, a roar sounded. Ink's tone. The middle-aged man's arm shook and he turned back sharply. In the distance, Yun Fengzi and an old man were seen speeding towards the side. Middle-aged people recognize old people. The old man is the current director of the Supernatural Management Bureau and the leader of the Spiritual Alliance. There is a team of evolvers behind the two, and they are all here now. After having everything taken away, she returns as a god. Author, Qing Qian. Chapter 691. There were a full 50 people. Although there were only 5 A-level evolvers, such a formation also panicked the middle-aged man. He was just afraid of causing too much of a stir and letting others know. The middle-aged man shouted, "Didn't you already cover up our whereabouts? Why did the supernatural administration come so quickly?" The questioned evolver stammered, "No, I don't know, I must have covered it up, Forget it, stop talking nonsense, she won't survive," the middle-aged man shouted. "Quick, let's retreat." With the help of the evolutionaries with the ability to move, several people disappeared from the place in an instant. Xia Yangkai was the only one left on the snow. Unconscious. Yun Fengzi staggered a few steps forward, not daring to touch her. "Dad, inkstone her." Leader Yun was still calm. He took out a few pills and fed them to Xia Yangkai. "Find a place first. Quickly, call Au and ask him to come back as soon as possible. He is not safe outside." At the same time. Stab dash. On the road, Sci-fi suddenly stopped the car. Xiaoyu gained experience this time and stabilized his body in time. Sci-fi said, "Get off the car." At the same time as these two words fell, Xiaoyu keenly sensed that there was an evolver lurking nearby. In the bushes not far from them, several young people were looking here. One person asked, "Is that Xiaoyu?" Someone took out the photo, looked at it, and nodded, "Yes, it's him." "Why is there another one next to him? Didn't he say that Xia Yangkai only has one child?" Several people looked at each other, a little confused. This is information found by the Huo family, so there can be no omissions. It's true that they didn't know Sci-fi. After all, even the international movie queen and best actor didn't have any reputation in Free Continent. "No matter, since there are two people, let's kill them both," the young man in the lead sneered. "One is to kill, both are to be killed, there is no difference." With the young man's words, several people were relieved and immediately rushed towards Sci-fi and Xiaoyu. They are all A-level evolvers and have been practicing in the Eternal Continent for several years. Xiaoyu only came from Free Continent this month and has little combat experience, so he will not be their opponent. The moment several evolvers appeared, Sci-fi had already sensed them. She lowered her eyelashes and said calmly, "Stand behind me, and you can contact Uncle Yun." Xiaoyu paused, then took a few steps back obediently. Xiaobai stretched out his paw and patted his head maturely and thoughtfully. "Yu, don't be afraid. Jeju is so powerful now. These people can't even get close to her." Xiaoyu was angry and funny. "Why did you call her Jeju?" Xiaobai blinked his eyes, "Because Jeju likes the number 9. In the few seconds that one person and one pixie were talking, the attacks of the 4 evolvers had already arrived. However, the next second, the air suddenly condensed. Buzz. The 4 evolvers staggered a few steps as if they were starved of oxygen. But their abilities were obviously far superior to those of the evolutionaries in the Evolutionary Alliance. They quickly regained control of their bodies, gained mobility, and attacked again. Sci-fi raised his hand again. Click. One in each hand, she pinched the throats of the 2 evolvers. The other 2 evolvers were kicked in the air by her foot and were directly placed under their feet. The young man's expression changed drastically and he blurted out, "This is impossible. As we all know, the evolvers who have experienced in the Eternal Continent are far more powerful than those who have not. This is also the reason why the medium-sized families in Free Continent do not have as many evolvers as the Yin, Lotbar, and Kukaki families, but their strength is already surpassing these 3 families. But this girl easily controlled all 4 of them. There is only one reason. She is an advanced player in Eternal Continent." Just when this idea came to mind, Sci-fi's light voice came, "You guessed it right." Boom. The young man's temple suffered a heavy blow, his vision went dark, and he fell heavily. The other 3 A-level evolvers were also eliminated within 10 seconds. Si fucking also took a piece of hemp rope from the director's staff and tied the 4 people into rice dumplings. Xiaobai waved the flag and cheered, "Juju, you are so awesome. Juju, you are the best." The young man's mind was buzzing, and his brain went blank. It was too late to think about why a dog could speak human language. Si fucking wiped his hands and said lightly, "I'll give you 3 seconds to tell me your purpose." This sentence made the young man wake up instantly. He broke into a cold sweat as he remembered the warnings of the people who hired them. "Miss, this matter has nothing to do with you," the young man gritted his teeth. "If you protect him, if you offend others, you will only cause trouble for yourself." Si fucking raised an eyebrow. "Oh? It has nothing to do with me." "Yes, the other party is very strong," the young man said incoherently. "I don't want to target you, and I don't know what the purpose is. Our boss went after that woman, she is the focus. Miss, this person is not someone you can afford to offend. Even if you kill me, you can't save him." Si fucking asked calmly, "Are you from Free Continent?" The young man nodded with all his strength. Yes, we are from Free Continent." Free Continent is a too chaotic continent with no order or system at all. They have long been accustomed to the Free Continent's way of doing things, and human life is nothing in their eyes. Therefore, people outside the Free Continent are afraid of these indigenous residents. But the next second, the girl's plain words made her feel like she was falling into an ice cellar. "Since he is from Free Continent, let's kill him." The young man's expression changed drastically, and before he could say a word, his vision completely fell into darkness. Si fucking stood up and wiped his hands clean. "Which young lady fell in love with you and robbed you?" Xiaoyu raised his hands in a gesture of surrender. "I really adhere to male ethics." Si fucking looked at his face and commented, "You don't keep your face very well." "Xiaoyu." Xiaobai nodded its furry little head and agreed, "Just like Juju's boyfriend." "Xiaoyu." "Okay," he gave up. "Okay, I'm just teasing you," Si fucking said lightly. "These people obviously want your life, and all their moves are aimed at your vitals. It's not that the girl wants to pursue you. At most, it's the fiancé who wants to kill you." Xiaoyu was choked. "This is not a good thing either." Si fucking said, "Think about what enemies you have." Xiaoyu frowned, shook his head slowly and said, "I have never had any mortal enemy, it should be my mother." His identity as an actor is his best disguise, and he has always known how to keep a low profile and hold back. Si fucking hummed, dialed a phone, and said in a cool tone, "Hey, it's me. An evolutionist from Biz who has arrived in your territory. Hold him captive. I want their lives. Even if the King of Heaven comes today, I have to leave everything to her." Extra updates for the babies are here. Will adding more monthly tickets produce many monthly tickets? Ching ching super handsome QVQ. I'm a little tired from writing, and I can't bear it physically and mentally. I'm going to start finishing it early and try to finish it this year. I hope I can handle it. See you tomorrow.